Hi there to everyone watching, and welcome to another edition of Evented Talk, brought to you by eventerprise.com, the global platform for the events industry. And today we're joined by Veemal Gungadin, the CEO of Global Sign-In and developers of the GiveMe event management and marketing software products. Veemal, welcome so much. Thank you for joining us today. I'm looking forward to an interesting chat, especially since your products are very interesting to all event vendors out there. But let's start off by allowing you to introduce yourself properly to the audience out there. Who are you? How did you get involved with the events industry? And how did Global Sign-In and GiveMe came to be?
Right. Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having us here. So pleasure to have a chat with you. So we started off the company Global Sign-In around 11 years ago. So it was just by sheer luck that we got into the events industry. So it was a friend and myself together. So we had one client who wanted to have an online registration form, and that client happened to be Citibank. So we just built up something, we crafted up something as an online registration form for them. And well, after that, then we said, hey, I think there's some opportunity in there. And then we ventured it. And then we started looking at the whole event technology space. So that was around 11 years ago. And it was, again, like I said, a bit by luck. But then we ended up becoming more of a, how should I say, a system integrator company. So we didn't know anything about events. We didn't have any background about events. So I'm from a very deep tech background, and my co-founder, Jonathan, was more from a design background. So then we started building applications to solve event organizers' problems. And well, after 5 or 6 years of doing so, then we were equipped with enough knowledge to say, hey, maybe it's now time to put this whole knowledge together and to build up a whole platform. And this is what we did around 4 years ago, where we transitioned from a system integrator company very much to a product company. And today, the product that we have is called, GiveMe, G-E-V-M-E. And it's a cloud-based event platform. That's really an integrated platform that consists of different sets of applications that caters for all different, throughout the life cycle of an event. So we have apps like, for example, online registration and ticketing. We cater for email marketing, all the way online, all the way on site during events, where we provide technology to make the whole process of people checking in on site easy. And today we work mostly with government clients and enterprise clients. So we have clients like Forbes, Facebook, Simple Press Holdings, many different government agencies around the region. So we're based in Singapore. So we work very much in the Asian region today. So we work in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. We got clients in India, China, and we are looking at expanding to Hong Kong and Dubai. And recently, one of the events that we worked on, in Singapore, was pretty much in the limelight for this recently. That was the summit between yeah. So and we were the company that was providing that technology.
That's a fantastic accolade for you to be entrusted with that kind of level of event.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah. That was probably up till now the proudest moment for us, because it was really a showpiece for Singapore as a whole itself, and Singapore wanted to bring together the whole the top companies that we have homegrown within the country here. And Singapore is such a small country, but now playing at the global level. So we were extremely proud to have been selected to.
That's a fantastic. It's a fantastic achievement. How do you position your company with regards to global players in the event management marketing market like Cvent? How would you differentiate yourself from those?
Great. So we got companies like Cvent, right, who focuses very much for the large enterprises, and they have their software platform, which were built pretty much way before us. Now that's both good and probably bad. Good in the sense that they have managed to acquire the whole range of clientele over the years. And then on the other end of the spectrum, what we find is companies like Eventbrite, providing purely ticketing system, making it super easy to sign up. You can get started within less than 5 minutes, get your event up and running. You can use it for free. So it's great, right? So we got Eventbrite, companies like Eventbrite on the ticketing side on one end, and then Cvent on the other end. And we find ourselves right in between. So we position ourselves as an enterprise event management tool. So if we have customers who come to us and then who say, hey, I'm organizing one event and Eventbrite is free, how do you compare with that? So we say, hey, if you find that Eventbrite is great for you, use Eventbrite, because you will not pay anything if your event is free. You have a little bit of limitations, like for example, you can't customize the look and feel, the branding, but if that's not an issue for you, go for it. But if, let's say, you are more of an enterprise client, you want the relevant assurances in terms of data privacy, security, branding, levels of customizations, integration, pretty much enterprise requirements. And if you're managing multiple events, but yet you don't want to use a software that's overly complicated, that your users will find it difficult to use, so that's us. And that's where we find ourselves.
Yeah. So you see yourself more as complementary rather than in competition with the other players in the event management market. Yeah. Well, to a great extent, that is how the Eventerprise platform sees itself as well. As we mentioned in our brief intro conversation before we went live, Eventerprise is an umbrella platform, so it is completely vertically and geographically agnostic, which means that we do have Cvent on the platform, we do have Eventbrite on the platform, and we will definitely, I think you guys have already got your profile up and running as well. So it's all about giving the event public a lot of options so they can decide on which product or service works the best for them. I want to actually, you mentioned that one of the reasons why you guys started the company was because you wanted to solve some of the friction points in the industry, the challenges that are faced by people to get their events up and running and through the whole life cycle. In your opinion, and after, from a technical point of view, which you stated as your background, what would you say are the main challenges that people who want to set up an event are facing today?
Right. So the industry has pretty much changed over the past 10 years, I would say. And it has changed rapidly, right? So 10 years ago when we got started, we were dealing with basic stuff, like, for example, getting people to stop using paper, right? Stop registering using email, right? Stop registering people on Excel. And when people come in to check them in on papers. So those were some of the basic challenges that we faced. And then recently it has been more about the whole digital transformation concept. So today the expectation itself has changed. So back in the days when we started off, we wanted to become the platform to cater for all your needs, right? But the customer expectations also have changed today. So like what you rightly mentioned earlier, so today we don't see ourselves necessarily competing with the rest of the providers like Eventbrite, Cvent, and event app players and all that. So we see ourselves working with them, and we give the customer the choice. The choice, like for example, we are a platform where we provide multiple different suites of applications, and the customer is the one who's able to choose, hey, I want to use that particular software for that particular need, and then I want to use you guys for the on-site because I feel you're better for the on-site, right?
Yeah.
So customer is the winner end of the day. So in terms of challenges from a technical level that we're facing, is that today the organizers have become more sophisticated. In fact, they are being pushed by attendees at events to become more sophisticated because attendees have become more sophisticated. Everybody go to events, they carry today their mobile app. So for example, at events, it's becoming normal today to be able to provide an event guide on mobile apps, right? Rather than printing event guide, event shows.
Yeah.
Then people now are expecting more with the data that are getting captured. So back in the days, it's like people will go for an exhibition, they would register their event. 6-7 years ago, that still used to be on paper. These days, they are registering at least online during the event. But now people are expecting that data that is getting captured online, on site, right, to be actionable, like to make sense of that data real time. Like where are people going at the different booths at an exhibition, for example? How can I drive traffic in real time to different sets of booths by offering incentives, by sending push notifications? And how do we make the whole process seamless to people, right? So there's new technologies that are coming in. Some of them are not necessarily new technologies, but they are being applied in a more accessible ways. So things like, for example, RFID, which has been around for a while, but now it's becoming cheaper and easier for people to use RFID to get people to be tracked and to give access using RFID cards, wristbands, to make payments during events, which is cashless payment without using physical money itself, to use facial recognition, for example, to check in people, to identify people. But with that, the next challenges, and that's really two things that are becoming very important. It's in the area of data privacy and data security, because the easier it's becoming to deploy technology, especially with what cloud vendors like Amazon, Microsoft, Google are pushing around, it's becoming easy to deploy solutions out there, like, for example, facial recognition. But there's a fine balance between privacy in here and how do we be in compliance, like in Singapore context, that's called PDPA, personal protection. Then there's GDPR in Europe, right? And security. How do we keep all the data that we are capturing secure, right? So this is the new set of challenges that we see organizers and us as tools providers facing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks for that. Those are all very pertinent points. Something else that comes out of that for me is there's been a few recent articles about the volume of event tech players that are proliferating. It is a fast-growing industry. It's a big global industry, so obviously you're going to have more players entering the market. And I want to draw the line between what you guys are doing and what we are doing, and what our value proposition would be for someone in your vertical. What is your feeling about being compared? I mean, we spoke briefly about it, about the niche that you occupy versus Cvent and Eventbrite, but being reviewed on an independent platform, is that something that you feel comfortable with? Do you think that there's value even for event tech? I mean, it's one thing to compare the reviews for florists, like on Yelp, or the reviews for a venue. Do you feel that the same is valid for event tech providers?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the new world. I mean, we want to buy a phone. What do? We go online, we check, we compare the different phone models. We want to buy clothing. We go on different shopping websites. We are all doing it. This is the new way of doing business, be it at the consumer level. And now what we're seeing that's happening at the business level, right? So no more is it the case of B2B tech companies like trying to be an island in themselves, and then trying to offer the whole suite of solutions. And this is something that we ourselves, we've had to change, right? So our company itself is called Global Signing, and it was a really conscious decision that we made around 4 to 5 years ago to come up with a whole new branding with our new platform itself, which we call Give Me, which is totally different from our corporate company itself. And that was really in the spirit of this, like to be that global player, to be that player that works within an ecosystem of applications and competitors. Because the truth is, in so much that the world is getting flat, there's global players all around. In the context of event, what we see is localization is still very important.
Very important, yeah.
Because if you are an event organizer in UK, you want to come to Singapore to run an exhibition, to run a conference of 3,000, 5,000 people. You could be using your own event technology provider to handle the online registration, the email marketing, and whatever pre-event aspects with another provider that you're more comfortable with. But when it comes to the on-site, for example, as an event organizer, you would feel more comfortable working with a local partner, right? And now what becomes important is that that local partner needs to be able to play nicely with other event tech players. So that's why I think what you guys are doing is really interesting, because it helps build that whole ecosystem. And of course, that comparison is going to be there and stuff. And that's the game.
Absolutely, I think there's place for a lot of the local approach. You know, there's place for local players, global players, etc. But for us, the core value proposition is that apples need to be compared with apples, and up till now, you know, our mission is to bring that transparency so that if you have 3 or 4 different event tech service providers in Singapore, are you able to go and look at their portfolio and feedback from previous clients and then compare it before you make your educated decision on who you would like to use, and take a little bit of the risk out of, because I mean a lot of these conferences and events are costly. They cost a lot of money to get up and running, and if you choose the wrong service provider, you can regret it, and it can hurt your budget. So I think that there's a beautiful linkage between what Give Me, and I know I'm struggling with the pronunciation, I'm trying, and Eventerprise is doing. And do you feel, just in conclusion, do you feel, Veemal, that that there's been a significant rise in the adoption of event technology compared with, let's say, 5 years ago?
Oh yes, yeah, really big change that has happened. And I mean, there's lots of factors that has happened. So one is the whole concept of cloud computing itself, and then making technology more readily available. Cost has gone down. The speed, the volume with which new companies are coming up is phenomenal. And platforms like yours is great as well, because what's happening is, I know for sure, like around here in the region, there have been providers who have been really comfortable like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because they didn't have to innovate. And then because they were the only guys who had visibility with their client base, right? And then that was comfortable for them. I mean, I would love to have it in that space as well, but there was a lack of innovation, right? There was a lack of innovation, lack of competition, I would say. But now what's happening is, if we put competition aside, on the brighter side, this is pushing innovation forward. And end of the day, we have the consumers who are the winners in here. And for us as event tech providers, it pushes us to go to the next frontier, and that's what drives the team as well.
To stay on your game and to make sure that you keep on providing value to the customer. That's
right.
that's a very, very good. Probably the best possible point that we could end this conversation on, I think. Veemal, we almost done. Is there any last comment that you would like to add to our conversation before we sign off?
No, that's pretty much it. So, well, I'd like to thank you very much for having me once again. And on our side, one of the things that we do as well is we provide quite some great content, I would say. I'd like to think on our website. So we run a blog. So that's we go on giveme.com/blog, where we provide lots of resources, educational-wise, on the whole aspect of organizing events, on running events, and some of the best practices that we have learned over the years. So I'd be happy for our audience here to go in and do subscribe to our mailing list.
Thank you, and from our side, Veemal, thank you so much. That was a very insightful conversation. I love it every time I can speak to a fellow event tech participant. We will make sure, just to add for the audience, we will be adding the Give Me and the Global Insight links to the comment section. If you've got any questions for either ourselves or for Veemal and his company, please pop them in the comments and we will get straight back to you. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to the next broadcast next week, and we will be in touch to let everybody know what time we will be sending out that broadcast. Once again, Veemal, thank you very much. Lovely talking to you. And all the best with Give Me. I hope you guys develop loads more interesting event tech products to wow the market with. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.